Hello everyone, Man of Interest here, and it's time for This Week in Keyboards. But we have some interesting news this week. Before we get to that, the sponsor for this episode, ZealPC. Over on ZealPC, you can check out some awesome switches like Zelios, Telios, Helios, and Xylence. I actually have a batch of 62-gram Xylence V2s that I'll be putting on a build real soon, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have an affiliate link for ZealPC, which you can check out in the link down below. Every purchase made through the affiliate link helps me out significantly by giving me a small kickback from your purchase, so I definitely appreciate it. If you grab some awesome switches through my affiliate link, that'd be A+. Thank you, Zeal, for this opportunity. Now let's get to the news. Starting off in the news is some interesting news from Wooting Keyboards, which is the Lekker Switch. So what's the Lekker Switch? It's a Hall effect analog input switch. It works with a Hall effect sensor on the PCB and a magnet attached to the stem. This seems like it'd be a great upgrade for the Wooting line since their current switches aren't the best when I last tried them out, and honestly the specs do look pretty decent. They're linear, 65-gram bottom out, 100 million press lifespan, 4 millimeters of travel, hot swappable, and MX compatibility. This is definitely the innovation that Wooting needed, and it's nice to see that they're trying something new. The housing is said to be made of a PC plastic, which they claim will ensure smooth key presses and a long durability. I think if Wooting can nail the smoothness of the keys, they'll be in a pretty good spot for an OEM with an analog switch, considering the fact that their current switches aren't terribly smooth. If an analog switch doesn't feel smooth, it won't be nice to use. Next up is the interest check for GMK CCCRL9 split spacebars by our pal Heinebush. So, do you have a Dolch set or basically any Dolch variety and you want split spacebars for your Lubrigante, Alice clone, or other split spacebar keyboard? Here you go. At approximately $40 per kit, that's not too bad. And I'd be pretty down to grab a set to use with my GMK Dolch set on my Alice. I think that'd be quite nice of a looker of a keyboard. The concave split spacebars are honestly a nice feeling. I have the concave split spacebar for my Q01 set on my Alice. I really like it. So I'm looking forward to this, and I hope you are too. Next up over on NovelKeys is the YOK Trash Pandas. Mike has already announced that there are no current plans to continue different colored runs for YOK switches, but these Trash Pandas will continue to stay stocked for people looking to pick up these switches to convert to Holy Pandas or to use as linear switches. 55 cents each is fine, although hopefully we see them come down in price in the future. They're available now, and you can get 5% off your order if you use my promo code for this month, Spring Springs. So check them out when you get a chance. So if you're into split keyboards and you're looking for something different, you might be interested in the Corne or Iris keyboard cases over at Little Keyboards. You can find some pretty cool cases as well as the parts you need to build a Corne keyboard. The layout looks pretty interesting and it seems pretty usable for what it is. I think a lot of people with shorter thumbs would appreciate the single thumb key not being a mile away. The layered case looks pretty decent and a pretty good option if people are looking to try out a new split keyboard, but they want something that looks a bit nicer than plates of FR4 or acrylic sandwiches. So great to have better options there. Topre. It's a very beloved switch, but for many, they want it to be quieter. Hypersphere rings, KBD silencing rings, Type S sliders, key-clack silencing rings. There are quite a few options, and now we have another contender in this ring with the Deskeys Topre silencing rings. With so many rings in the past, there have often been issues of silencing rings being too thick, too thin, and not just right. Well, Deskeys has decided to get past this by offering 4 different thicknesses, from as thick as the original Topre silencing rings at 0.5 millimeters of thickness to as thin as 0.2 millimeter ultra thins. Prices are TBD, but your boy Huey might be receiving some to try out and give feedback on, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully they turn out pretty well. I'm looking forward to the really thin ones. If you're already into small keyboards and you're into that small keyboard life, you probably already know about the Minorca and Sebright 40% boards. But if you're newer to the market, then you're in luck, since Alec at Ponk will be running another round of these boards. This time, these will feature a high-profile aluminum milled case and a PCB with a USB-C connection. I think a lot of people will be a fan of this edition of this keyboard at its gentle 4-degree typing angle, frosted acrylic diffuser for RGB underglow, and a hot swap PCB. The board will run on GMK firmware and will cost around $240. Ugh. But if you're ready for a decently premium 40%, here's your shot to ditch that acrylic sandwich for possibly something a bit heftier and maybe nicer feeling in your hands. So, if you think you like the idea of more than meets the eye, then does Fireworm have the set for you with the Ghost key set? The profile is still TBD, but the idea behind the set is here. I really like the red keys that pop out so vividly, and I think a lot of people, the big issue is going to be the lack of contrast between the legends and the keycaps, and that's going to really make or break the set because it comes down to whether or not you're on board with that theme. If the set didn't have those novelty legend keycaps, this would be a no-go for me, but I actually like those bold red text keycaps and the words when they say and what you can arrange them to be. I think that really makes a set, and that might be the reason this set will work at all. Up next by Shenzmobile is the Intercheck for the Bireme, a wireless Ergodox-inspired split keyboard. This keyboard intends to fix 3 issues of the Ergodox, those issues being the thumb clusters being large and unwieldy, the lack of high-end cases, and the nuisance that is the interconnecting cable. So, both sides will be connected via Bluetooth 5.0, and the PCB will feature KL hot swap sockets. Both sides will be powered with an internal LiPo battery, which you can charge with USB. With a clean CNC aluminum case that will come powder-coated, how much do you reckon this will cost? The tentative pricing puts the PCB case and powder coating at around $360, with an option to upgrade to a brass plate for $30 additional. Since it's a split board, it makes sense to have an option for a tenting add-on, so a 3D printed tenting bottom is available for an extra $10. With a following of people who are really into split keyboards, I think premium options are a real plus for a lot of people, considering the fact there aren't that many premium options in this space. I'm curious to see how this progresses, and it might even be something I pick up for myself to try out down the line. Next up by 159 is the Kepler TKL. All of the group buy spots have already filled up, but I think it's worth taking a look at anyways, considering the popularity and the price, and oh boy, that price. For $850 you get a group buy spot for the Kepler, which is an aluminum TKL with a completely brass bottom. This board features a 7-degree typing angle, a Lemo connector, a plug, Pelican case, 3-piece gasket mount. All 50 spots were sold out in a day, which is honestly really impressive and demonstrates the buying power of our community. The keyboard has a pretty simplistic aesthetic, but that does lend to a very clean look that a lot of people will like. I guess I should touch up on the 2 streams of the board that happened over this weekend. Well, I won't, to a degree, but if you haven't, you should check out the VODs for the 2 Kepler builds. One was done by Topre and the other was done by Nathan Kim. Unfortunately, none of them worked. Next up by Kono is the MiR EX interest check. At the moment, it's literally just a picture and a field to enter your email to join a mailing list to learn more when it's ready. Hopefully we'll get some more juicy pictures soon. Curious to see how those sides will be, curious to see the bottom, curious to see whether or not it's going to be one of the boards that will work with their new silo switches. Also over at Kono is the intercheck for the Solarized Dark keycap set, originally designed by Ethan Schoonover and now redesigned by Thesis Camper, Gaddix, and Rainblood. This set will be interesting because it's said to be running on an unannounced sculpted spherical profile, so not SA. Considering the fact that this is Kono, I don't think it'll be MT3, so I wonder what they'll have up their sleeves. I think a part of this intercheck that will draw attention of most people is that, the profile, whatever it mysteriously may be. Although the colorway of the set is pretty nice looking as well. What do you think about the high profile? What do you think it'll be like? I'm pretty curious about this unannounced spherical profile. And I think we really need to see some samples. Seeing samples will really make or break this set depending on how crazy or how normal the profile is. So this next topic was technically last week, but it's in that small gap between me writing the weekly script and recording the footage for the show. By Fox and Annette, this is the Square 80% keyboard, which is a sandwich mount TKL with an aluminum case, a 4mm aluminum plate, and a 7-degree typing angle. There will be two options for PCBs. One is an RGB hot swap PCB developed with their own software for editing the layout, and the other is a QMK compatible hot swap PCB. I wonder what most people in the West will end up choosing. The colors available will be white, black, red, and yellow, with buyers being able to mix and match colors for their tops and bottoms. The board is expected to cost approximately $410 US, and you know what? The renders and sample look okay. There's definitely a focus on the bottom of the keyboard, and that makes it look pretty unique while leaving a relatively simple top, although the main feature that makes the top pop out are those color accents around the keys and the 3 simple LEDs. I think that this board has a lot going on, but it's done much more tastefully than, for example, the recent Percent board that I talked about the other week. So, curious about this. Pretty curious about this. Speaking of TKL teases, we move on to the Verne. 8 Oblivion Gray Vernes will be Vickrey auctioned this weekend from Zamamon on May 15th. There are a lot of important notes that you should definitely read in the post itself. Link down below. Read it. For those of you who don't know what a Vickrey auction is, it's a combination of like a sealed auction and a silent auction. It's one bid per person, and you don't know anyone else's bid. The highest bids will win, but they pay the bid price of the second highest bidder. So hopefully this will give bidders an incentive to bid their true value, since you can only bid once, and you don't know anyone else's bid. And I think this is an interesting approach to selling these keyboards. It's new ground in our hobby, and it's good that there aren't like just 1 or 2 Vernes, but all 8 of the gray ones. I'm curious to see what you people think about this method, and I'm curious to see whether or not, how the effect of it in terms of flipping and not flipping. So let's wrap up this episode with 2 GMK interest checks. But wait, don't go yet. I promise they aren't horrible. First is the interest check for GMK Norde by GTRX, which is, to be honest, pretty similar looking to Oblivion and Solarized Penumbra. Although I guess when you get to text editor themes, they can be pretty similar-ish. And I think an advantage with text editor style themes is that they're already in use for typing a lot of text, and I think those ideas convert well into key sets, aside from the fact that a few of them will end up looking quite similar. The base kit I think will need a little bit of work, but I think it's enough to work. The spacebar kit is okay, but I hope we get some concave going on for people who want that split spacebar life, since it's already going to be a separate kit. I think this has potential, so keep your eyes out. And our last topic is something I'm sure you undoubtedly already have your eyes on, which is GMK Olive by Olivia. I gotta cover this because I love this set. The group buy for GMK Olive starts on the 1st of June. It goes live during KeyCon. So if you're at KeyCon and you see Olivia, you're gonna realize you need to buy GMK Olive, otherwise you might feel bad. And that's a 200 IQ play right there. I'll be in it to win it for that set. I'm excited. I hope you are as well. That's it for this week in keyboards, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the news this week. Any highlights for you? What about that Vickrey's auction? Well, I'll have more videos coming out pretty soon, so keep your eyes out on them. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to my videos to keep up to date on my keyboard content. If you want to talk about keyboards, you can join my Discord through the link in the description below. Next week, I will be starting Season 2 of the Cool Boards. I hope you guys tune in for that. Otherwise, you guys will see me streaming every Monday and Wednesday. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.